in this time of conflict and controversy, he has been unequivocal and loud in his support for diversity, for Black people, for communities, for unity, for equity. He speaks about it often. He stands up and he stands strong. And Governor, I just cannot appreciate your support enough. We need more of it around this country. But I appreciate your leadership and thank you for being here with us today.
It is truly an honor to be with you here today. 60 years ago, on a cold March morning, history was made right here in Selma. We stand on the shoulders of those brave men and women who set out on a journey we continue today. They marched together for their right to vote in this country, a country their ancestors helped build, shape, and even defend. They marched for the promise of change for a better future for their kids. But they were met at a bridge by an Alabama governor filled with hatred and ignorance. He stood for violence, not peace, suppression, not freedom. But I'm proud this day that this Kentucky governor will stand with you, will walk beside you, and we will march forward together. Make no mistake, those seeking to divide us have been chipping away at the Voting Rights Act for years, and they will not stop, which means the fight for progress marches on. Here's where I stand. I believe that diversity is always a strength and never a liability. And that in these days, it is our job to speak up and speak out. Right now on the cable news, they're saying, where is the voice? Well, I think what Selma tells us is there wasn't one voice that day, but the collective courage of people who walk towards justice, even when it put them in the way of violence. So folks, these days, we all have a voice. We all have an ability to speak out directly, and our collective voice can win the day. Thank you all. God bless. Let's speak up. Let's speak out. Let's work with each other. Let's move this country forward. Thank you all. Tourism is essential to Kentucky. It's an industry filled with amazing leaders. It's an industry that brings joy to families across the world and across Kentucky, including my own. But it also brings good jobs. It boosts our economy, and it supports our local communities. We're not looking at the same Kentucky anymore. Thanks to the work of everyone here, we're welcoming people to our new Kentucky home, one filled with opportunity and prosperity. Kentucky is on that biggest economic winning streak we've ever been on. And today, we get to announce that the numbers are in, and 2023 was officially the best year in Kentucky's history for tourism's economic impact. From our strong bourbon distilleries to our small business owners who are investing in Kentucky, to our hotel clerks and our staffs at attraction and restaurants, this success is your success. Y'all are the people welcoming these travelers into our state, and you are helping them create unforgettable memories and keep them coming back to the Commonwealth. So I want to say thank you.
From going to work
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andy, and welcome to this week's Team Kentucky Update. Normally, we start these updates with jobs announcements and great economic development news, and we have some of that. But we are still experiencing one of the most widespread flooding events that the Commonwealth has ever seen, and so we're going to start right there. Let me start by trying to give you some scale on how big this natural disaster is. We've now had over 70 counties that have declared states of emergency. That means in each of these counties, they believe that there is enough damage, that there was enough flash flooding, storm damage, or riverbank flooding to necessitate a state of emergency. And the event is not over yet. Some good news, the Ohio River did crest in Louisville yesterday, but it's only going to crest in Owensboro on Saturday or Sunday, in Henderson on Sunday, and then in Paducah sometime next week, maybe even a full week from now. We're also continuing to get reports of more lives that have been lost. So today I have a little more sad news to share. This morning we were able to confirm the death of a 66-year-old Campbell County man. This loss joins 5 others: a boy here in Franklin County, a 74-year-old woman in Nelson County, a 65-year-old man in Trigg County, a 27-year-old man in McCracken County, and a 50-year-old man in Bullock County. Each of these children of God, missed by their families and by their communities. Please pray for them. We'll be reaching out with the Team Kentucky Storm Relief Fund to offer to pay for each of those funerals so that, again, we can grieve together and these families aren't worrying about this cost, that burden at this very difficult time. Each of these deaths is attributable to floodwater, and so this is another reminder that it is still dangerous out there. Do not drive through water. Do not drive around barricades. Do not think that you can drive around where the mudslides or the landslides are. Please be careful. And in the cleanup, make sure you don't overexert yourself. Take breaks. Make sure that you've got the right type of protective equipment. Recognize that mold can spread really quickly. This is now 6 individuals, 6 Kentuckians lost. We don't want to lose any more. We provided updates on Monday and Tuesday from the Emergency Operations Center. And yesterday, I toured flooding damage in Louisville, in the downtown, as well as the tornadoes that hit part of Jeffersontown. I know the mayor of Jeffersontown, Mayor Pike, and Mayor Greenberg had said it, but I want to reiterate it. We are really lucky that this tornado did not hit during the day when there would have been hundreds of people in this area. We're really lucky that it wasn't this strong when it hit neighborhoods in Middletown, where it had weakened significantly. Some of these buildings are reminiscent of what you saw in Mayfield right after that tornado. So we think this is an EF3 or potentially greater for a short period of time as it came through J-Town. But very grateful that that this daycare was empty, that it was at night. It's pretty hard to see toys strewn all over the place, knowing how tough it could have been if kids had actually been in there. I want to take a moment to thank all of our first responders, including our Kentucky State Police, Department of Fish and Wildlife, our Kentucky National Guard, as well as all of the emergency management groups, the rescue teams, the sheriff's offices and police offices. Haven't gotten full confirmation, but I think there's a pretty heroic rescue in Webster County by their groups last night. So all of these things continue to go on with real amazing Kentuckians putting their lives on the line to protect others. So let me say it again. Do not drive through water. When you do, you put your life on the line and you put the lives of everyone who's going to try to come and rescue you on the line. For most of Kentucky, we are almost fully through this. So let's make good decisions.
and let's make sure that we protect ourselves and everyone around us. As we look at power outages, down to 2,523 meters without power today. A lot of this is utilities shutting off power to be able to safely work on different areas before restoring it. When we look at water, we have 3 systems that are not operational, 18 with limited operations. We only have 775 customers in the state that are without water. If you think about how big this flooding is, that's really amazing to have that back up and running for virtually the entire state. Then there are 3,521 connections under boil water advisories. This isn't typically just one utility. This is when they had pipe bursts. And so there are different areas amongst a lot of utilities throughout the state. I want to say a thank you to a number of out-of-state first responders that have been here with us, many of them still here. We've shifted a lot of our swift water boat teams from central Kentucky now over to western Kentucky, knowing that the worst of the flooding is still going to come to Henderson, Owensboro, and then maybe Paducah. But a big thanks to the Georgia Task Force 6. They have 25 personnel with us. The Vermont Task Force 1 with 18 personnel. I think that was the first group to answer the call. Maryland Task Force 1 with 45 personnel. North Carolina Task Force 8 with 22 personnel. Virginia Task Force 1 with 45. And again, to all of the other first responders working hard, thank you very much. Public Health has received shipments of tetanus and hepatitis A vaccines. You can go to your local health department and request the vaccine if needed. Remember, if you're going to be cleaning out, you need to have both of these vaccines or shots. Again, it's dangerous. You don't know what's been in that water. Certainly the aftermath of these storms have a lot of rusty nails and other ways that you could cut or hurt yourself. Again, you want the protection of that tetanus and hepatitis A vaccine. They are with your local health department. Please go in and get them if you need them. Transportation cabinet, cannot stress enough, do not go around barricades. The instability of the roadway due to washout under a road is dangerous, and it presents a hazard if you drive around a barricade. Kentucky National Guard, all requested air operations have been completed, and resources are in standby status to respond. We do have high axle vehicles deployed throughout the Commonwealth to help in any evacuations or any additional rescues. The Joint Operations Center remains active, assisting with mission requests as necessary. The Kentucky State Police continues to assist local law enforcement and first responders in multiple post areas with wellness checks and, again, helping night security patrols. All driver testing offices are open and operating today. We appreciate your patience. I'm going to talk about driver's licensing a little bit later in the update, but this is our employee safety. It's also the safety of folks who otherwise might be trying to get in when it's not safe to one of those offices. I know we're already having challenges in driver's license offices, and then you compound the severe weather we've had over and over and over, and it makes it tougher. But again, we want to put everybody's life and safety first, and then we'll make sure we get through all those other issues to get you your license reissued, or if you're 15, get you in to take that test to get you your permit. We are working on it. We still have 350 state highways closed, 341 by high water, 12 by rock or mudslide. And that's good news because that's down from about 550. Transportation continues to work to clear those roads. But remember, their safety is important too. Make sure you give them a wide berth and that you slow down. Every single one of them is a Kentuckian. They need to get home to their family safely, just like you want to get home to your family safely. Remember, there's a lot of pavement still underwater. And once again, do not pass barricades, signs, or cones. Turn around. Don't drown. Bridge inspections and highway damage assessments are also underway. 85 bridges have been inspected. 4 have issues. 2 are closed. Those include Kentucky 1462 in Marshall County due to the condition of the channel, and then Graves County, the county road, the Tim Road Bridge. 8 have debris, 1 having temporary repairs. Remember, though, there is road damage Pavement can be peeled by rushing waters. The full extent won't be known until the waters recede. Remember to check goky.ky.gov for closures and know before you go. In a new update today, we expect to submit our application for individual assistance to the Secretary for Homeland Security and the President tomorrow. Now, we are likely to start with 10 to 12 counties. And I know you saw the map. 70 counties have declared states of emergency or more. The reason we're doing this is we want to make our best case to get that first round in, and then we will add counties after that. Now, we've been through enough of these. We know that that is the fastest, most effective, and most efficient process to do it. And so I know when we make this application and hopefully it gets signed off on, we'll put out that list of 10 to 12 counties. Rest assured, there will be more. Had a chance to talk with FEMA's leadership in state yesterday. They are already making preparations, provided the president signs off on it, on where disaster recovery centers will be. They recognize it's going to be a massive operation for FEMA, given how many counties have been hit, but they are really putting in a lot of planning. We're really lucky that Jeremy Slinker, our former Director of Emergency Management, is now with FEMA. It's providing a whole lot of help in our EOC. We're grateful for him. General Butler State Park is sheltering 112 people from this flooding. Additionally, from the previous floods, Kentucky state parks have 102 people at 3 state parks. The Team Kentucky Storm Relief Fund is now just under $1 million, 992,000 raised. One quick update from the February flooding. Now, I said that I thought that things were going better with FEMA and individual assistance this time around. I think the numbers bear it out. Thus far, over $32.7 million have been sent out from FEMA to families that have applied for individual assistance. That's a good number, and we expect it to continue to grow. All right, moving on to how we normally start the Team Kentucky update, which is good news. The good news is that our economy continues to grow. Even with all of the concerns and pressures coming from our own federal government, we continue to announce new jobs. And while our federal government talks about manufacturing not being in the United States, we continue to announce manufacturer after manufacturer after manufacturer either coming to or expanding in Kentucky. And what I love is we're talking about the manufacturing of the future, making sure that the facilities we're opening are going to be here 10, 20, 30 years from now, providing good jobs for our people. And so all these we talk about are what I would call advanced manufacturing that are truly going to help us lead this country in making what we need in Kentucky and paying wages where people can support their families. Since I became governor, we've now announced more than 1,100 private sector new location or expansion projects for a record $35 billion in announced investments, a record 60,500 new jobs, and a record 3-year average incentivized wage of over $26 an hour. So today, we're announcing that Morris Packaging, which is a leading minority business enterprise certified manufacturer of flexible products, the company's announced plans to build a nearly $61 million production plant in Marion County. The best part, this project's going to create a whopping 276 new jobs for Kentucky families in that community. The company offers sustainable packaging solutions, warehousing, inventory management, logistics management, and design and brand services across several industries, including the food sector. The state-of-the-art production plant will be safe, quality food certified and will give the company room to grow. Construction on the new facility in Lebanon is expected to be completed by October. I'd like to welcome Morris Packaging to Marion County and to their new Kentucky home. Thank you for those 276 jobs. We're going to make sure that you're successful so that you expand and we add even more jobs, more families to that number. Morris Packaging is not the only company recognizing the value of locating in Kentucky. I also want to highlight a great project that means a lot to Pendleton County. After losing a business last year that had been a part of the community for over 3 decades, County, city, and state officials work together to attract another outstanding Kentucky company to the area. Muhlenkamp Properties, doing business as Paragon Metal Fabricators, has announced plans to locate a new manufacturing operation in Falmouth with an investment of $6 million and the creation of 40 Kentucky jobs. This will be their second location in the Commonwealth. We love when new folks like Morris join us. That means that we're doing the right things. That means we've got the right programs and people see growth opportunities. But when people expand, it's because they know our workforce. It's because they know that we can get it done. And so very excited about these 40 new jobs and also what it says about our Kentucky economy and that Kentucky companies trust Kentuckians, trust their communities to ultimately add and expand their businesses. All right, now some news on the front lines of our driver licensing regional offices. I know that there have been more than a few complaints out there, longer lines, and general difficulty. Most of this has come from the new requirement of eye exams and people coming into the office to get eye exams. Now, when you come into the driver's license office to get eye exams, admittedly, it's free. We do it right there. But what's changed is tens of thousands, if not 100+ thousand folks that used to renew online are now coming into the offices. So think about that. First, the state's only been doing this for several years. This used to be done by all of our clerks. We had to take over driver's licensing when the clerks did not want to do real ID. So we're building this plane while we're flying it, creating all these offices throughout the Commonwealth, hiring and training the folks that are there. And then this new law passes, which I signed and I supported, but it is creating a bigger push into the offices. What most people don't know is that they can skip the line if they get their eye exam done privately. And while that won't be free to those that can do it, it allows them to ultimately do everything online they'd need and not have to deal with scheduling that appointment or coming in. So what you can do is you can visit an eye specialist for your vision screening. You can ask for the completed vision form, and then you can upload it at dlrenewal.ky.gov. And what happens is we mail the license to you as usual without you having to wait in any line. I also want to highlight two other ways that you can avoid delays. You can visit any regional office, get a free vision screening, fill out the renewal form that is there on site, but then you can leave it there. And we will send you a temporary license emailed to you that day. So as opposed to continuing to wait to get that license issued while you're there, you can leave the form and a temporary license will be emailed to you. Or you can renew by mail. You can print the mail-in form at drive.ky.gov, fill it out, and attach your completed vision form from your vision specialist or when you come in to KYTC, and we can mail it to you. Again, I know that we need to do more, and we're working on it. We're going to be rolling out some new efficiencies. We're going to be making some changes that hopefully bring in more, not temporary, but permanent employees to our driver's licensing offices. As we've had to build this almost from scratch, we've had to have a lot of temporary employees. We need to ultimately move to permanent and permanently trained employees that staff these different facilities. So I'm personally meeting with the Transportation Cabinet team, and we are going through the different steps on how to get there. Soon we expect to announce other remote renewal options and innovations that will help manage the lines better. But again, if you want to skip the lines, you can do those couple of things. Number one, you can see a vision specialist in your community and get that form, and then you can submit it all online and get your new license mailed to you. Otherwise, you can go in, you can do the vision screening, and part of what else you have to do, leave the form and get the temporary license emailed to you, and then the rest will be mailed to you, or you can do it by mail if you're doing it early enough and have it mailed to you as well. So let me just encourage those that can do it online to do so. That'll not only help you, again, if you can afford it, but it'll help everybody who that's a bigger challenge for, to not have to take off as much time at work or otherwise. There is a last option that we will roll out that is you can either renew your license right now for 4 or for 8 years. If you do it for 8, the cost is a little bit more, but again, you won't have to come in after 4 years, and that'll make the lines shorter again, because people will have their licenses for a longer duration. All right, on another topic, I'm excited to announce another round of Team Kentucky investments to strengthen our state's infrastructure and fuel more economic growth. Over $3.6 million from 2 state grant programs will support 12 railroad projects in 11 counties. $1.6 million was awarded to increase safety at 9 public crossings in Boone, Fayette, Hardin, Jefferson, Marshall, and Muhlenberg counties. And over $2 million was awarded from a program that provides grants to expand rail access and increase safety. Of that, $1.4 million will go towards the construction of a new 580-foot line that will increase rail car storage capacity in Madison County. And more than $600,000 will repair a main rail line and switch line near industrial areas in Boone, Grant, Lincoln, and Mercer counties. All right, something Brittany and I believe in is ensuring that every child and every person has access to books and reading. So today I am proud to shout out some Team Kentucky members who helped make this happen, our public librarians. This week is National Library Week, a time that we recognize all the ways that our libraries support our communities and our families. We also saw libraries go above and beyond during the pandemic, creating drive-through pickups, Wi-Fi enabled parking lots, and providing online programming and support. Our libraries continue to expand the resources they offer. The First Lady recently announced that Kentucky now has free statewide access to teachingbooks.net. Our libraries have also worked to expand Dolly Parton's Imagination Library to every Kentucky county. And Kentucky's proud to have more bookmobiles or mobile libraries than any other state. Kentucky has 120 public libraries. This week, we encourage you to visit your local library and thank your librarian. Now, if I can, my public library that we go, which is here in downtown Frankfort, recently got a lot of water. We think it was primarily in the parking lot and in the basement. I know we're going to get some more information about that today. We planned on having a picture or two up, but to them, thank you for all your hard work, and we know we'll have you back up on your feet here quickly. Finally, our Team Kentucky All-Stars have to be all of our first responders, everybody in emergency management, people who've been working around the clock to minimize the loss of life, to help save people when their lives are in danger, and all those making sure that we have meals and supplies and places for people to stay during this tough time. You know, when you see our true humanity is in these times of great difficulty. You know, after a natural disaster, I've never heard anyone at all argue about politics. I've never heard anybody argue about a disagreement on any of these issues that seem to pull us apart nationally. All I've seen are people be good to each other, to show each other love, to help, and to everybody who's showing that love and to everybody who's helping, you are this week's Team Kentucky All-Star. We'll open it up to questions, and then I'll close this on a bit of a personal note, given what today is. So we'll start with Karen Czar.
Thank you, Governor. Governor, I know this is, Dr. Stack had pointed out that this month we're focusing on mental health. Are there any additional resources for mental health services that have been put in place for some of these hard-hit areas, but in particular, first responders who've been going nonstop in parts of the state for months now?
We do. We have the disaster distress hotline, which I hope we can put up here, and that is specifically for those that are going through mental health crisis or difficulty in the wake of a natural disaster. This is for first responders, but also, you know, if you've lost everything, there are people that are specially trained that have helped folks who've sadly gone through the same thing, that have learned the different lessons on how to guide you through it. There are people that have been there and that want to help you. So, if you're hurting, and I know it's easy to be hurting with the chaos and the loss and the difficulty, when your business or your home's been completely flooded, you look at it and you even say, where do I start? And I've sadly now stood with hundreds of people while they've asked that question. I wish these wouldn't keep hitting Kentucky, but every single one of those people take the first step, and then the second one, and then the third. And I've seen them rebuild and do amazing things. So if you're struggling right now, you're going to do those amazing things too. And we're going to make sure we're walking with you. This disaster distress hotline is for you. And remember, the 988 mental health hotline is also out there, specially trained individuals ready to help. It's okay to not be okay. And after a natural disaster like this, most of us are not okay. It's okay to reach out for that help. Carolina.
Governor, some rivers have gone down a good amount now. As you pointed out, though, some have not yet crested. We've had some rain in the early morning. There's potentially some more forecasted for later. I know it's not a significant amount, but given how everything is so saturated right now, are you guys concerned that this could cause some additional problems?
Yeah, the rest of the rain we have coming through today isn't going to cause any flooding of note. It may make the rivers go down slightly less quickly, though here in Frankfort, it receded faster than all the original projections, thank goodness, and it was just barely below the projection that would have been problematic. I think what we're worried about are mudslides, rock slides with that extra saturation, and then just people being careful on the roadways. And if the roadways are finally open and you feel like you can drive and take off, and then we have some rain that can make the pavement wet, just be careful. In the end, we don't see this set of storms as any particular threat. But again, we got a lot of first responders, transportation cabinet individuals out there. I just ask everybody, take a little extra time and be safe. Bodie.
Thank you, sir. I know we're still probably, counting the numbers in terms of damage from this event. Are we at the point now where we have to consider any kind of special session, or is there any desire or need for that? And if not, what, pots of money are available?
Yeah. So we're not to a need for a special session yet. But remember, we're not out of the first year of the biennium. And so if you take February's flooding that we had, you take this one, I think we've had another one in this biennium as well. We are going to reach that cap at some point. I don't have a date for you yet. My goal would be to try to do something about it before we hit it. But remember, these natural disasters, we don't get to plan. We don't get to decide when they occur. Thankfully, we have the National Weather Service and all your meteorologists that now have given us some real heads up notice, which has saved so many lives. But this is the first time ever that our state legislature has said, we're going to cap the amount of money to save people's lives during a natural disaster or that immediate response. I mean, I don't think that's right, especially when we have so much money in what we call a rainy day fund, and we're dealing with rainy days. Sydney.
Governor, you said you're going to put in an application for national grant money, but can you tell us if you have any expectations of what it might cost for relief and for building back up?
This certainly in between the public assistance and the individual assistance, this is in the hundreds of millions of dollars. You think about the flooding in February, FEMA's already paid out just to families, $36 million, and that was a $100 million event, though some of our bills have actually come in lower than what we've seen in the past. And so this one, could you show the map of the counties again? It's just so widespread. You think about in every single one of these counties, you likely have state highways, county roads, and city roads that have been damaged. Maybe you have some bridge damage. If you think just on the public assistance side, you have courthouse flooded, libraries flooded. Think of through all those pieces, different vehicles that may have been ruined from the EMS to others. And then you get to the families that have been impacted as well. So we'll apply for individual assistance first this time. Normally we apply for either public first, or we apply, and that helps governments and counties. Normally we apply for government and individual typically about the same time, or public a little first because it's easier to get that together. We know families need help. And so we are changing our approach to prioritize getting families help first, knowing that we can get that other application in. If approved, it will provide, I think, about $750 just in initial help. That's not the total. I know that rumor or misinformation went around before, but that's immediate needs and cleaning supplies. And then there's, I think, around 42,000 as a ceiling that's available to families and individual assistance. I will say most families don't reach that full amount, and everybody needs to document. Take pictures of everything damaged. Get as specific as you can. If you can get the serial number on a damaged appliance, that will help your application significantly. But I've said this a number of times. This FEMA operation, at least in the East, under Secretary Noem and President Trump, is operating the best we've seen. It appears to be treating our families the best we've seen, and we're grateful for that. All right, and finally, Tom Latek from Kentucky Today is on the line.
All right, thank you, Governor, and good afternoon to you. You were talking about the issue with a backup and getting licenses renewed and issued and what have you. The General Assembly passed legislation this year, which you signed, that will allow third-party vendors to start issuing renewals. Do you think that's going to help reduce the issues, the problems that people are having to wait? And when will that start being implemented?
So we're taking a look at that right now. That's an option we want to use if it can help us with the lines, at least temporarily, but it's got to be secure. And that's what we've got to go through, making sure that everybody's information would be secure in that process. Now, it's been done in other states. There are vendors that are out there, so we are working through that right now. And if the private sector can help us, especially as we build up these offices, we want to look at each of those options. All right, so today is also the 2-year anniversary to the mass shooting at Old National Bank. That was a shooting that I know ripped at the core and fabric of not just Louisville, but the entire Commonwealth. And I lost my friend Tommy, as well as an acquaintance in Jim Tutt, and a lot of other people lost people that they loved and cared about. Thing about grief is it hits you at unexpected times and unexpected days. But to me, I'm committed that the traumatic memory of my friend's death shouldn't overshadow all of the great memories of his life. And so I try to hold on to those. I try to hold on to all of the funny and enjoyable moments we had. I try to be grateful for everything he did for me and hope that I did enough for him. But it just reminds me every day that life is short. Right? And I say this in just about every speech now because of this, because of losing Michael Brown. You know, life is short. Our job is to do good things and to be kind to each other. And I think that's how we thank our friends that are no longer here with us, hoping to live out our lives in a way that shows just how grateful we are to still be here. All right. Thank you all very much.